So we make it to Bandimere. We've got 4 more days of racing. So we have Bandimere, we've got 2 days of Pueblo, and then we head back to Kearney Raceway Park. Now for the average, Outlaw Street, we do a 4-day average, and that ends at the 2nd day of Pueblo. So we've got 3 more days to affect our average. And Outlaw Street, we don't have a cap. We were in the index class initially when we signed up, but you have until the last day to make a decision where you're going to end up. And when you turn in your slip, you tell them if you're changing from what you signed up for during registration, and we did. So we were moving to Outlaw Street, and coming out of day number 1, we're competitive. We're in the number 3 slot. At Kearney, because the elevation's not too crazy there, we were able to go ahead and just use the smallest jets I have for this plate that I've got. It's a 150 shot. So going into Bandimere, I've got a little bit of data. We've run a 200 shot on the car there before, and we didn't have to use any type of progressive. It was a 200 shot, and it was from the hit. And I'm thinking, okay, we're going to put 250 jets in it because, again, we're not limited to 10.0. That year we were limited to 10.0. This year we started out that way, but then we moved classes. So we can really let this car eat a little bit, right? The idea is we're making more power. It's more nitrous friendly than it's ever been. And if we put the bigger jets in, we should get that first 9. I've never been 9 at this track. It's a goal of mine, and the track's closing. So this really is the night to get it done. And we're going to put the jets in. Here's the tune. Take a good long look at this if you're into this kind of stuff. But to me, 70% was going to put us around that 200 on the hit, slightly lower. This car does make a little bit more horsepower, a little more torque than what we were making before. Been a safe hit, so we had less power than I've had before on the hit in terms of what the progressive and how much spray we're doing. I did kind of a lame burnout, sat there for a while, ended up knocking the tires off and pedaling twice. We don't get that 9. We're gonna go back and we're gonna look at the controller. We're gonna make some fine-tuned tweaks here. We get to the pits, and I noticed that one caliper on the driver's side where we lost the wheel bearing is starting to stick a little, so I'm going to go ahead and take the wheel off. I'm going to mess around with the pistons and try to squeeze them back a little bit and see if I can't relieve it or free them up if they're starting to bind or whatever. So we're going to make another hit. We're going to make some adjustments. We'll take a quick look at that tune, and then we'll get back in the car and make a hit. We still blow the tires off on this second hit, unfortunately. Once that 60 foot suffered, although it was better than before, it wasn't good enough, and we ended up running just a 10-12. And here it is. This is the last time, because now the caliper is really messed up. On the way back, the car was pulling super hard. and then in the pits we lift the front end of the car up, and you can't even spin the wheel. So that's it. Dejected at this point.
Bob, talk to us. What are you going to do? What's the plan?
I don't know what I can do. I'm thinking maybe driver needs help. Who has an aerospace caliper?
Racer in need.
Racer in need. There you go.
Have you put that call out yet?
I haven't. I don't know what I want to do yet.
All right, Bob.
Spirits are low.
Spirits are low. Okay.
Thinking about quitting. Thinking there's no way anybody has a caliper that helped me. It turns out we get a whole other brake kit and do all the assembly and the hoses and everything. Get back on the road, and we're gonna make a lick when we get to Pueblo if we can make it.
Woo! Break the internet. The All About Race team has made it.
What a day, brother.
What's that?
Today.
Oh yeah. No doubt. Congrats, you guys are legends.
That's what you call a torture. They made it to Pueblo.
Oh, no doubt.
Now, we get there with about 90 minutes before they close down the lanes, and we have to turn the car over. So part of that is going to be we need to change the plugs from drive plugs to nitrous plugs. We got to change the fuel system over to the race tank, not the big tank. We're going to ditch some exhaust. The crew chief and I had a disagreement on this, and sometimes you just want to slap people, but I didn't, and maybe he learned a lesson that day. I only wanted to remove the back part, so the muffler section that saves us probably 40 pounds. The car is known to be a tenth slower with that mid pipe on. So amazingly, it's just 20 inches or 23 inches of 3-inch exhaust, but for whatever reason, it still kills 20 horsepower, 25 horsepower, something in that neighborhood. And also, from the standpoint of getting out of there, it's so late. We had such a long day, such a terrible stretch of time to have to put it on at the collector again and just drag our butts. I was really kind of mad at the crew chief on that decision to remove it all, and we kind of pay for it, as you'll see here. Make our pass, we've got a decision to make. Are we going to be one and done or use the new fast pass that Rocky Mountain Race Week introduced this year? And all that means is we can go to a special lane in the staging lanes, and they'll try to get us right back on the track. Now, this was so late, though, I don't think we had 10 or 15 minutes to maybe add fuel and get back in. We're just going to hold it and put that fast pass in the back pocket for the next day. As it turns out, as we're packing up and leaving, we noticed that we've now dropped in the standings. We were number 3, and now we've dropped to number 4. And we're only 100th of a second out, but we also know that this is a 4-day average. So we're going to have to move the needle quite a bit to get back around that red truck that we waited on at Bandimere. He's now moved into 3rd place. And so we know we got to make sure we get the tune-up right for day 2 at Pueblo.